Hi everybody, Renegade 67 and or 68 here with some more Let's Play Stream Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Ranks of the Blind Variety. And I'm stretching. Oh, it's a stretch. Good stretch. So, I want to talk for a second about my thoughts on Timeline 2 at the moment and how it compares to Timeline 1. And this is premature. Of course, we have to finish Timeline 2 still, but still, I think it's worth talking about. In Timeline 1, what? If Ren is a red shirt, then why has she survived this long? Star Trek. Right, so Timeline 1 definitely had a slow start, which I can appreciate more in hindsight. I thought it was a little iffy at first when I was playing through it, but I can appreciate it more in hindsight because it plays into Shiro's character arc. But then once it got to, around the Ryder Shinji stuff, it really, got snappy and exciting with, oh, Ryder and, oh, Berserker, and then a little bit with Caster, and then, oh, Gilgamesh. And so it was sort of enjoyable ride in the back half that made the first half more enjoyable in hindsight, the slow burn once you understood Shiro's character. And I do think it had a mostly strong ending. Compare that to Timeline 2, I think, so far, my opinion is that Timeline 2 is a bit weaker, and again, the ending could change this, because I am big on endings, but I think where Timeline 1 had the problem of being maybe a bit too slow at first, and then, ramping up later, I think this front-loaded a little, by comparison, because, just thinking about it, I was really excited during, let's say, when we saw the first change, with Archer not being injured, so we got to play more in the initial Berserker fight. And then the Archer-Caster fight was fun. Rin fighting Shiro was kind of fun, though I feel like there could have been a little bit more of that. But after the Archer-Caster fight, it's been a lot of presenting, adversaries presenting to each other, but not much actual conflict. Like, oh, Shinji was about to do something cool with Ryder, and then Caster cut him off, and then that conflict never really went anywhere. And there was the Kazuki fight, but I do think that's so far the lamest fight in the visual novel. There was Caster taking Taiga hostage, but that was just sort of set up. There was no real fight there. And then we went to follow Rin. She was going to fight Caster, but that was more set up because Archer switched sides, and there was like a very tiny fight, but Archer cut it off immediately, so there wasn't really a conflict there. Now we went to interrupt maybe the Gilgamesh-Ilya fight, but we didn't really interrupt it. We just kind of saw it happen, and we went to step in, but we were too late. And then there was a truce, so Gilgamesh left, and we're not going to fight Lancer. We're teaming up, so still no fight. It just feels like it's a lot of presentering and not much actual fighting. So it's kind of got the opposite problem of Timeline 1 in a way. And the presentering, I think, would be better if there was a more better understanding of the strategy. But as it stands now, with Fate Night being more about tactics in the moment and less about pre-fight strategy, it's felt more like a case of they're about to fight, and I'm like, all right, let's see some cool fighting. They didn't fight. Oh, now they're really going to throw down. They didn't fight. And so it's just been kind of a little bit of a letdown in that sense. And because they're spending so much time on almost fighting, they're not spending as much time deep diving into the characters, let's say, as in Timeline 1, where the slow burn stuff early on I can appreciate in hindsight for Shiro's, terribleness that he develops past later on. Whereas now they're spending more time on the presentariness of the two sides kind of going against each other, but they're not going against each other enough. But that's enough that it takes away from spending as much time on character delving as I might like, if they're not going to be fighting. And then also looking at the flow of the narrative in terms of how we fight people, more than just whether or not the fights happen, but the order of fights. Like in Timeline 1, it's kind of the Shiro and Saber squad mostly the whole time. But it's like, okay, we fight Assassin. How does that dynamic work out? We fight Ryder. How does that work out? We fight Berserker. We fight a little with Caster. We fight with Gilgamesh and Kirei. And I think the progression and evolution is fun and interesting. And as the dynamic in Shiro and Saber grows, even if it is slow at first, once it really gets going, I like it. But then in Timeline 2, it's sort of just Shiro versus Caster, but they sort of switch the pieces as things go, which could be interesting, I guess. But I find it less so interesting than changing opponents and seeing the different dynamics because it's like, okay, Shiro, sometimes he's with Rin, sometimes he works with Saber, sometimes he works with himself from the future. Now we're going to be working with Lancer, I guess. Caster, sometimes she's got Kazuki working with her, sometimes she's using Assassin, sometimes I guess she's going to mind control Saber. But it's kind of just this one long, prolonged fight. And without a proper understanding, I guess, of any strategy, I just kind of want to, get to it. And that's sort of where some of my excitement initially was coming from with us swerving into the Berserker Gilgamesh stuff, because I was like, okay, we got to intervene in this fight. We're definitely going to have, A, we're going to have a fight, and B, it's something that's not just facing Caster for a bit. But they really got that over with really quickly. There wasn't much of anything to that. If anything, the Ilya thing was just a plot device for Shiro to further realize his problematic nature, or rather Rin to realize it, Shiro to deny it. And now we're teaming up with Lancer, and it seems like we're right back to going back to fighting Caster again. So it's just this constant fight against Caster. And Caster herself is having some interesting revelations as we learn that maybe she's a bit more troubled and isn't just the obvious, big bad who needs beating so we can save the damsel in distress type. And there's some interest there, and maybe once it gets to the end I can appreciate it more. But where Timeline 1 was kind of like a weak beginning, strong middle, strong ending, so far Timeline 2 has been strong beginning, weak middle, I would say. And I haven't really gotten to the part where it gets good yet towards the ending, I guess. So, and I think if there is going to be a weak part, the middle is best to be weak versus the beginning or end. The end is the worst to be weak. But, still, I'm feeling a bit of the weak middle at the moment, in my opinion. But, so, yeah, I guess maybe it comes down to my preference of preferring seeing the different dynamics as they go along versus one dynamic that's constantly evolving. And I guess it would be better if Caster was more thoroughly understood, whereas I feel like only just recently they've gotten to that. That could have been something interesting if we were seeing both sides from the start and they made it a gray dynamic. But what they did instead was they went with the idea that, oh, you think Caster's just going to be an obvious big bad. And only recently have they started inducing the tragedy. So the gray and gray is only just now sort of happening. But anyways, I just thought I'd talk about that, because I do think where we are right now, I'd probably rate Timeline 1 higher. But again, we still have to see the rest of it, this timeline. So, dash. We have a choice to make. Do we join with Lancer, do we not join with Lancer, or do we join with Lancer? I think between those choices, we either join with Lancer or join with Lancer. I'm just torn between joining with Lancer or joining with Lancer. Conditions are fun, though, and I want to see Shiro stand up for himself. So, sure. What's your condition? Dash. We have to accept his offer. Even if he's an enemy, he's still right. Tosaka and I can't beat Caster. But we might have a chance if Lancer's with us. But... Alright, I'll believe you. But it's under one condition. I'll accept your help in defeating Caster and will trust you. But... But what? You want me to tell you who my master is? Maybe he was ordered to tell you so that we could actually strategize more. That'd be funny if it's just, oh yeah, casually, Kirai's my master. I could see Kirai doing that because he could, he would probably just get a kick out of our reactions. But... Oh, that's your lame-ass condition? Okay. That might give me Rin points. No. Even though cooperating, stay away from Tosaka. The air freezes. Oh no! Did Shiro take our joking in yesterday's stream about the Lancer Rin shipping seriously? Lancer is specious, like he's been sucker punched.
なるほどなるほど。そりゃそうだ。俺のマスターなんぞよりそっちの方が何倍も重要だよな、坊主。
Lancer's a fun guy. I like him. I see. Yeah, that's so much more important than who my master is. You're right, kid. He starts laughing heartily. He's a cool bro. He's got kind of a dick master, but he's also got his master's a fun dick. His chemistry is a bit lacking with his dick master, but they're both fun in their own ways, I would say.
なんだよ、悪いか。言っとくけど、遠坂はやらないからな。
Rin will act soon about this. Like, are you stupid? Why would I end up with a servant? But also, deep down, she'll be happy about it. She'll do the sun thing. Is that bad? I'm telling you that you can't have Tosaka.
まさか悪くなんかね。むしろ見直したところだ。
Rin blushes. Oh, I love it. Okay, man, your dere. Your son cannot hide your dere now, Rin. Try as you might. That's not bad at all. Rather, I have a better opinion of you now. I'm so glad I picked this choice.
いや、いいね、お嬢ちゃん。坊主、あんたにぞっこんじゃないか。
Wow, that's great, young lady. This kid's completely fallen for you.
私とシロはそんなんじゃないわよ。私たちはただの協力関係なんだから。
I think you're a bit too far in to be denying it. I think you're just denying it to yourself at this point, Rin. What are you saying? We're not like that. Yeah, we're just cooperating. Rin, your dere is too overpowering. Your son can't defeat it.
そうか
Really?
なんかムカつくわね、あんた。何よその見透かしたような顔は。
And Lancer's face, or not Lancer's face, sorry. Lancer, props to his actor, I would say. He sells the, making fun of us vibe really well. I like it a lot. You're irritating. What's with that know-it-all face?
ほら、シロもなんか言いなさいよ。私たちはただの協力関係だって。
Come on, say something, Shiro. Tell him we're just cooperating. I mean, if we're just cooperating, it's only because you haven't told me you like me back. Because I've said, he already said he really likes you at this point. If anything, and if he agrees that you're just cooperating, he's only going to agree because you haven't said anything back, which might not be good in the long term. Dash. Shiro doesn't want us to just be cooperating, does he? Does he want it? He definitely doesn't, but unless he doesn't want to bring Rin down to his level. Ellipses. Ooh, he has to hesitate to respond because he doesn't want it to just be simple cooperation. He's enjoying it so much now. He's falling into the Rin sexual like he was Saber sexual. He wants it to be true.
なんか言いなさいよ、バカ。
Say something, you idiot! Oh, and Rin's actually really getting into it too. I like it. Oh, great scene. So glad I chose this choice.
これじゃ本当に私たちが付き合ってるって。
Oh, is this your version of saying you do? This is if we really do love each other. Well, I mean, Shiro, I think only said he liked you earlier, but you want to upgrade to love, I don't think you'll mind.
だから本当も何もとっくに出来上がってんだよ、お前たち。旗から見てる俺でさえわかるのに、当の本人たちがごまかしてるだな。
I agree.
ああ、こりゃこの先も大変だぞ、少年。
Oh, if only Lancer was Rin's servant. He's the much better wingman than Archer is. It's not as if. You two are already in love. Even I can tell, and I'm only watching it from the side. But she's actually denying it? This is troublesome, kid. Yep. Lancer's got the right of it. Oh. Lancer makes a sympathetic gesture.
まあ、遠坂が大変なのはもう分かってるから。
Well, I already know Tosaka's troublesome. Doesn't mean you don't like her, though. You like some of the troublesome parts. I just miss his sympathy with a sour look. Oh, I like seeing Rin's dere side. It's fun. It's fine. It's fun cracking that Sun open and really getting to the heart of her dere. Yes, give me your dere. Get rid of the Sun and just be full dere. No, you can't be full dere. The dere is less fun if you're never Sun. Na! Ni?
ほう、そりゃ頼もしい。じゃあ俺もそれなりに気を使ってジョーちゃんと付き合おう。
Oh, how reassuring. Then I shall take care when I socialize with her. I'm suddenly a huge fan of this alliance. I mean, I expected it to happen, and I wanted it to happen because it's fun chemistry with the fact that he's the one who initially killed me and got me all into this mess. But now, I just think they're fun bros. Sure, Lancer bromance, yes. I shall take care when I socialize with her.
だがまあ、からかうと面白いジョーちゃんなんだな。道中楽しませてはもらうぞ。それぐらいの見返りは構わねえだろ。
But she's fun to tease, so I'm gonna entertain myself for together. You don't mind that condition, right? I'm all for it.
わかった。その線でいこう。キャスターを倒すまであんたの力を借りる。
He says yes! And Lancer's like, hey, you don't mind if I make fun of her, do you? And she was like, no, that's fine. Oh, 10 out of 10, best scene. Ah! Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I'm so glad I picked that option. Alright, we'll go with that. Sure, you can make fun of her, just as long as you're not actually hitting on her. We'll have your help until we beat Caster.
決まりだな。じゃあまあ、とりあえず握手と。
Then it's decided. Well, let's shake hands. Lancer can be that honorable type sometimes. Lancer walks to me unarmed and shakes my hand. I guess you could say Lancer's always been the honorable type. He just got stuck with a grody master, unfortunately. I was gonna say it makes you wonder why he got summoned by Kira, but then I remember that he didn't, so... Kira was just a jerk and killed his original master, so... oh well, maybe in some other universe we could see what Lancer was actually like with his real master. I am sure that fanfics exist of that. I am curious, though, if anything official does. Don't tell me, but I'm curious. Lancer walks to me unarmed and shakes my hand. There are worrying factors, but we're able to attain a reliable ally. You call him reliable in your head. He's not unreliable like Archer is. No. He gets what's up because he ships you with Rin. All that's left is... You know you love it, Red. Your son objects loudly only because your dere is much louder. I'm so mad!
いいわよ。あんたたちなんてこっちから願い下げよう。こうなったら私一人でキャスターをとちめるんだから。
Fine, I'm breaking my ties with you guys. I'm gonna go recast her by myself. Oh, Shiro Lancer bromance is something I actually kind of wanted to see, you know. Not gonna lie, like, even without Rin, I said this before he went after Rin, I wanted him to maybe, team up with Ilya or Lancer. If Kira had been killed off, I did think it would be really cool if temporarily Lancer and Shiro, formed a contract, because Saber got broken off from Shiro, and if Kira had actually died, Lancer would have needed a new master. I thought that could have been a really neat idea. This isn't quite as what I was looking for, but it's okay. It's alright. How can I calm her down? Oh, best scene. I love it. Okay. We walk through the dark forest. Although we don't know his intentions, having Lancer's help means we don't need to stay at the castle anymore. Oh yeah, you were planning to sleep at the castle, now you don't need to. Okay. I guess it means you can get closer to the battle sooner. I am curious where the Gilgamesh thing is going. Because it seems like they're building Caster up. I know they're building her up to be tragic, but under normal circumstances, I would think, well, okay, Gilgamesh is going to be the real villain, and he'll take down Caster. I would think that if I hadn't seen Timeline 1, and it's like, they already did him as the big villain, so I don't think they double dip in that sense. So I'm curious how Gilgamesh gets beaten Maybe he has a fight with regular Archer in this timeline and then a fight with Shiro in timeline 3? Or is that still redundant? I don't know. Although we don't know his intentions, having Lancer's help means we don't need to stay at the castle anymore. It could just be a cool three-way fight, face-off. A three-way could definitely be interesting. Our team versus Caster's team versus Gilgamesh. But, who would ultimately defeat Gilgamesh in this theoretical three-way, I'm wondering. I have doubts that it would be mind-controlled Saber, because even if they were going to do that, Saber already beat him normally in Timeline 1. They could go Archer. They could double dip on Archer and then doing Shiro. They could also just do Caster, but that begs the question of how? I think that is the biggest question mark for me right now. How does Gilgamesh get beaten in this timeline? Okay. We don't know his intentions. Having Lancer's help means we don't need to stay at the castle anymore. If we could somehow make some kind of opening for Lancer to beat Gilgamesh in this timeline, that would actually be super satisfying. Because, you know, Gilgamesh killed Lancer off-screen the last time after Lancer got totally screwed over by Kira and Gilgamesh. So, if somehow we could set something up where Lancer beats Gilgamesh, that would be incredibly satisfying if they could do that. If they could pull it off and make it work, I'd enjoy it. Lancer must have taken a liking to Tosaka, you think? As he keeps messing with her and getting hit by her.
ちょっとあんたね、ちゃんと自分のマスターがいるんでしょ？ならおとなしくしてなさいよ。
Hey now, you have your own master, right? Then you should stay quiet. Yeah, he does, but his master's a stick in the mud. By his own admission.
キャスターを倒したら敵同士になるんだし、話なんかしてもしょうがないでしょ？作戦会議以外はみんな無駄口よ、無駄口。
We're gonna be enemies after we beat Caster, so it does no good to be talking. Anything other than planning is unnecessary. Maybe, but he'll take what he can get because he doesn't like his relationship with his current master. He's honorable, I guess, so... I do wonder about that. Kirei, Lancer's definitely the honorable type, and he ended up ultimately turning against Kirei because, you know, he went too far with the whole Gilgamesh thing. Though, under normal circumstances, I don't think he would necessarily turn against Kirei unless he learned about the Gilgamesh connection. So, if he wasn't so honorable, I could definitely see him being like, well, you are a free master, and I hate my master. I wouldn't mind swapping, but I think he's a bit too honorable for that, without learning about Kirei's shenanigans with Gilgamesh. Although maybe I'm wrong about that. It does make me wonder, though, because Kirei's not even his original master. In Timeline 1, I forget the exact circumstances, but I know Kirei swooped in and killed the original master. And Lancer was just okay with forging a contract with the one who killed him. The orphan basement might have also played a factor. You're not wrong. But it does make me wonder. I don't remember the exact circumstances, but maybe Lancer had no choice because there was no one else around and he was in desperate need of a new contract, so he was forced to accept Kirei. I suppose that's possible. Does make me wonder, though. Anyways, anything other than planning is unnecessary. Well, that's unfortunate, because we never plan in these games. In these timelines. What do you think this is? Fate Zero, where they plan? No. All it is jump into the heart of battle, and using your emotions, and then maybe have some tactics in the midst of it, but you always enter your battles through emotions. And generally, not plan to even be in them. Or if you plan to be in them, there's an unexpected element, which does make things interesting, but...
なんだ敵になるからって話はなしか見かけによらず余裕がないんだな相手が敵であろうと気が合うなら膝交えて語り明かすってのが情だろうに
I can respect that mindset. What? We can't talk because we're gonna be enemies? You have less composure than you look like you have, huh? It should be natural for you to drink until dawn with someone that gets along with you, even if he may be your enemy. To be fair, the last time she let herself in close with a should-be enemy, you know, she fell in love with him, so... Debatably, she was already somewhat in love with him in the first place, but... Don't want her too timing by falling in love with you too, Lancer. Oh, good timing, Tom. Good, uh-oh. The frames are dropping a bit. But, yeah, we don't want, What? Right, yes. So I think it comes down to Rin's. It's less of though falling in love and more just a general Rin being, it's more of a general, Rin, being soft. That's the word I'm looking for. Is that, you know, she doesn't want to be friends with someone who might be an enemy in the future because she's too soft and would get too close to them and wouldn't want to kill them. She just wants to think of them as enemies so she doesn't have to think about the grody stuff later on. Where someone was like Lancer, he can easily flip between friendship and enemyship. And yeah, we are full dropping now. Okay. Make a save here. Let's see. That was the last one. This was a choice. I want to keep the soccer image. Let's go here. Lancer's a cool bro. Are still dropping? Kinda. Is it me or the stream? The stream is icky right now. But I don't know if you can hear me. Alright, it's pretty icky. I'll go ahead and intermission here.
いつの時代の人間よ、ハンタ
When are you from? Don't we know him? Don't we already know him as QQ Lane? Maybe we know him, but Rin doesn't. Because we know he's QQ Lane. We've known it ever since he's shown off his Gaybolg. And I believe Archer knew too. I believe Archer also pegged him for his real identity as well, which would make sense because, you know, Archer's Shiro. And given that QQ Lane is the first fucking one we learned, it's not surprising that Archer would know. Where are you from?
そういうね、明日には殺すけど今日は親友だなんてのは今時流行らないの。やるとなったら徹底してやらないと相手にも失礼じゃない。
All that friends today, foes tomorrow business is out of style these days. If we don't think things all the way through, it's rude to the other party. I suppose there's some truth to that, but also I think you're kind of soft, Rin. And you're making excuses.
はあ、そりゃまたつまんねえ世の中になったもんだ。
Wow, it sure became a boring world. Lancer's not learned his lesson. Good. I enjoy him being inept in failing to learn such a lesson. I think they've been repeating the same kind of conversation for a while now.
それよりランサー、自分の役割きちっと分かってるんでしょうね。
More importantly, Lancer, you know what your role is, right? I mean, he's the muscle, right? Pretty much. I might be the backup muscle, but he's the primary muscle. He's the servant of the relationship.
ああ、梅雨払いは任せておけ。お前たち二人でキャスターとそのマスターと戦うんだろ?
Huh? Yeah, leave it to me. You two are gonna fight Caster and her master, right? Are we? Is that the plan? Was that the plan? What, that I can fend off Kazuki while Rin deals with Caster? That does not sound smart. I mean, if anything, I think swapping me dealing with Caster while Rin deals with Kazuki, I don't know. I guess maybe we can overcome. Maybe with Rin's jewels, she has the potential. Given how Caster even thinks of herself as kind of weak. Maybe without a bunch of prep, Caster could potentially, and outside of her temple, Caster maybe could be beaten by Rin, who has a bunch of prep with her jewels and stuff. And, you know, Shiro going all out potentially could definitely beat Kazuki. I think that's definitely a realistic possibility. Still, is Lancer supposed to hold off Archer and Saber? Because he will get his ass kicked.
俺の役目はアーチャーの相手だ。
My role is to fight Archer. Well, hey, in that case, you're used to that. That hasn't changed.
最悪セーバーもどうにかしなくちゃならんが、まあ、抑えるだけなら問題ない。
I'll have to fight Saber as well in the worst case, but it won't be a problem if all I have to do is keep them busy. Yeah, because you're good at running away. Alright, that's fair. Fair point, fair point, fair point. You're a good distraction. The question is if Assassin's in the mix, because if we have to fight Assassin as well, then that, I think, complicates matters. I know he's, like, locked to guarding the temple, but I feel like that's presumptuous on Shiro's part to assume, if he even is assuming that he's going to keep guarding the temple, and that, you know, Caster can't switch his role or something. It's definitely been implied to the viewer that he's just going to stay guarding the temple, but, you know, Especially from Shiro's perspective, there's no reason to think he's gonna stay there. He speaks objectively. He isn't even scared of fighting Saber and Archer at the same time. I feel like you should be. I feel like you had pretty big problems with both of them, but okay. I mean, I guess you were arguably about even with Archer, and you were maybe going to win that fight with your Gayborg. With Saber, you tried your Gayborg and failed, even though Saber was a bit lesser on power than she would be at full power. I feel like a one-on-one fight is tricky for you. A two-on-one fight would be big problems for you. Like, maybe you could run away, but I don't think you could ever win such a contest. Not without some crazy pre-planning. Or good guy shonen bullshit. Like, we win because he wins this time because he's the good guy. Dash. Oh yeah, Saber commented him when we were training in the dojo. Oh? She said Lancer is the best when it comes to surviving. He's good at running away. She praised him, saying that his excellent agility and great experience, Lancer would be an impregnable wall if he went into defense. Makes sense, that goes in line with his skills, and it plays into how he managed to buy us so much time when we got away in Timeline 1 when he was distracting Gilgamesh. Because we had quite a bit of time. His skills, battle continuation A, does not give up easily. Allows for battle even on the verge of death, and allows the user to stay alive until they receive a clearly fatal blow. And restart, the ability to escape battles, can also return unfavorable battle at the beginning. Turn 1, and restore the conditions and techniques to their initial states. It sounds like an OP D&D term. D&D battle. Oh, Rune B, huh? The possession of the Northern European magic crest, Rune. Oh, okay. Cool. And Divinity B, right. Rune? Okay. Weird. Oh, wait, no, we had these details already. I just didn't need to reread them, because I've read his QQ lameness. He must have fought many battles from disadvantageous positions when he was alive. The ultimate underdog. And that's definitely true for this Grail War as well. Because given his master, and how, you know, his master isn't even necessarily intent on him winning, definitely the ultimate underdog in this Grail War. Even if he's not necessarily the weakest fighter, his circumstances make him the least likely to win. This man ran through fatal battles like a panther and lived on.
それはいいけどな。敵はアーチャーとセイバーだけじゃない。
yes.
キャスターの下にはアサシンもいるんだろう。なら、最悪あんたの相手は3人ってことになるぞ。
Good boy, Shiro. That's fine, but our enemy isn't just Archer and Saber. Caster also has Assassin. In the worst case, you'd have to fight 3.
ああ、そりゃやべえな。あの野郎は苦手だ。できれば1対1でもやり合いたかね。あの手のやつは遠くから仕留めるに限るが、ま、その心配は不要だな。
Oh, that's bad. I don't like that guy. I don't even want to fight him one-on-one if it can be helped. It's best to kill such a guy from a distance. You're not much of a distance fighter, though. But there's no point in worrying. Why? Is that because you did some intel and found out that he's, like, tied to the temple and won't leave guarding it?
アサシンは教会には現れない。
Assassin will not be at the church.
どうしてそう断言できるのよ。キャスターが竜道寺に戻らないなら、門番としてアサシンだって呼び戻すんじゃないの？
Okay, good. I'm glad they're bringing this up, because there's really no reason that they should have to think that he's gonna stay there. How can you say so? If Caster won't go back to the Ryudo Temple, wouldn't she call for a guard assassin?
いや、アサシンはキャスターが呼び出したサーバントだが、それゆえに制約がある。奴はあの場所そのものに呼び出された英霊だ。竜道寺を離れることはできんし、何よりキャスターが呼び戻さんだろう。
No, Assassin is a servant that Caster summoned, but he has his limitations because of that. He's a heroic spirit summoned to that place. He can't leave the Ryudo Temple. In any case, Caster won't call for him. Oh, interesting. I mean, there's the idea that she won't call for him because she fears him, you know, betraying her. But maybe also the whole reason she got away with breaking the rules and summoning him was because it was the Ryudo Temple. She said that she would have died if Kazuki brought her anywhere else, but because she was brought to the Ryudo Temple, she was able to live. So maybe because she summoned Assassin there, maybe that's how she was able to get away with it, was because it was the Ryudo Temple, and the connection only works as long as he's there, and if he leaves, the energy wouldn't be there and like he'd fizzle out or something. So maybe he literally can't leave the Ryudo Temple. I guess that makes some amount of sense.
あれはキャスターがマスターに黙って独断で召喚したサーバントだ。
He's a servant the caster summoned without letting her master know.
マスターが教会にいる以上は隠し通すし、おいそれと竜道寺を手放すこともできまい。
Does Kazuki not know about Assassin at all? I guess that's a fair point. Maybe he doesn't. She'll try to hide Assassin as long as they're at the church. And I'm sure she won't let go of the Ryudo Temple either. So she'll want Assassin to guard it. Makes sense. It's a very powerful spot for her to retreat to. If she gets in trouble, she is arguably strongest at the Ryudo Temple. So she'll want to guard that place. Makes sense.
竜道寺を手放せない。それってつまり
She won't let go of the Ryudo Temple? Does that mean...
聖杯の召喚場所があの山だからだろうな。
Oh, that too.
知っているか？聖杯戦争は今回で5回目だが、聖杯が呼び出される土地は4カ所ある。そのうちの一つが竜道寺であり、教会でもあるわけだ。
It's because that mountain is the summoning place of the Holy Grail. Do you know? This is the 5th Holy Grail War, but there are only 4 possible places. Oh, that means we're doing at least a repeat by now, if we didn't already before? Wow, lame. There are only 4 possible places for the Holy Grail to be summoned into. 2 of the places are the Ryudo Temple. 2 of them are the Ryudo Temple? Which parts of the Ryudo Temple? It's different parts, but still there? And the church. Oh, wait, oh, never mind. I thought it's like 2 on the Ryudo Temple, 1 in the church. Oh, no. 1 is Ryudo Temple, 1's the church. I see. So it's going to be summoned to the Ryudo Temple, or, wait, are you saying it's definitely going to get summoned to the Ryudo Temple this time? Or that's just a prediction? Or it could be any of those 4, depending. Because Kirei took it to the Ryudo Temple, so maybe it has to be the Ryudo Temple, because he could have just had her summoned at the church, and didn't. So, the summoning place of the Holy Grail. There are only 4 possible places to be summoned. 2 of them are the Ryudo Temple and the church. So is she guarding the Ryudo Temple because she already knows that's the place where it's going to be summoned this time? Or is it just one of them? Oh, and yeah, it is dropping again. That's, damn it, universe. Why would you do this to me? Why, how dare you? How dare you? I'm actually into this now. Don't drop now, you jerk. Why now? Fun exposition. 4 places? What are the laws? Two of the places are the Ryudo Temple and the church. So, yes, like I was saying, I wonder what causes it to go to a specific... Is it based on the Einsburn in question that's being turned into a cup? Is it selected in advance? Does the cup pick its whimsy? Can it go to any of them, I wonder?
ちなみに3回目の召喚場所は教会だったらしい。4回目はどこぞの平地だったそうだ。
By the way, it was summoned at the church in the 3rd war. The 4th one was summoned in a plain somewhere. Okay, church in the 3rd war. That is interesting information. Okay, so it does have an actual place picked out. Is it picked out in advance, or is it something where, like, as the war goes on, I wonder, the Grail decides based on circumstances? Grail is a fickle thing, it seems. So the 3rd war I've not seen, but that's interesting. The 4th one was in a plain somewhere. Yeah. My memory of exactly where that was is pretty vague, but given that it's a plane, I'm not surprised that it's kind of vague in my mind.
へえ、戦ってれば幸せみたいな人だと思ったけど。
Oh, I thought you
意外に
didn't...
物知りなんだ、あなた。
Rude Rin. Oh, look, she's back to her normal self. One-upping whenever she can. I thought you didn't think at all, but you're pretty well informed. It's probably because his master is kind of a know-it-all in this case. it would make sense for the overseer of the Grail War to be pretty well informed. Ley lines. Yes, always the ley lines.
単にマスターが小難しいやつなだけだ。お前たちの事情に関心があるわけじゃない。
It's just that my master is fastidious? I'm not interested in your... What is that word? What? Fastidious. F-A-S-T-I-D-I-O-U-S. I have to look that up. Fastidious. Fastidious. What is that word? I've never heard of it. Very attentive to and concerned about accuracy and detail. Yeah, that sounds like Kirei. Very concerned about matters of cleanliness. Maybe that's Kirei? Did you say and again, Tom? It doesn't look like our frames are dropping. Not really. And Again, I believe, is the name of a Danganronpa fanfic that I was a big fan of. It was like, And Again spoiled me. It was like the first fanfic I ever read, and it was so good. And not all fanfics are that good, but it's a bit unstable. I'm currently reading 14,115 drop frames. Total drop frames 13% is bad, but I don't think that number's changed much. And right now it's staying 14,115. That's icky. It's just that my master is fastidious. Not interested in your doings.
けどそっか。じゃあ今回の召喚場所って1回目と同じ場所に戻ったってことなのね。
Okay, but I see. So the summoning this time is returned to the same place the first time, huh? Oh, so it's looping. So the first time was the temple, and then the third church, the fourth plane, second whatever, and now it's looping. It's run. The star from Mario Bros. The star has Mario Party has run out of potential locations, so it's looping back to the first one. Lazy. It can't even randomize the order? Come on, Grail. Talk about not trying hard enough. Tosaka starts to ponder. Well, that sounds fun, pondering now that you've been fed the information. Not without actually looking into it yourself. Then again, you know, it makes sense that Kirei is so well informed at this point, but he's kind of cheating even being part of the war, but that is interesting. The summoning this time is returned to the same place as the first time. It makes sense that there are some spots that are the most strong, but it doesn't make me wonder what determines that. And it especially seems weird that it would go in a sort of order. Huh. Lancer watches her with delight and walks on in the dark forest. Dash, 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 dash. The date has already changed. For a second, I thought it's like, you know, my date with Rin, if this is... no, wrong date. If you do it twice in the same place, it'll just suck it dry and break it. Oh, yeah, because the Grail needs a certain amount of energy to be summoned. That does make sense, that it needs a place that's ripe with energy, so it can't be reusing the place. Certainly, especially in this case where the last Grail War was only 10 years ago. So I guess it makes sense to recycle them and only do each one once every 100 years or so. There's certainly logic there, I suppose. I can buy that idea. The date's already changed. The day should be dawning by the time we get out of the forest. Is dawning? Can you use that like a verb? The dawn of the day. Dawning. Can you? Does that work? The day is dawning. I've never heard it used that way before. Okay. I mentally prepare myself as I walk. We will fight Castor again in a few hours. Oh, yay, I can't wait to fight Castor again for the 100th time. Oh, is it really going to be a fight, though, or just a staring contest? We've only really fought her once, to be honest. And I enjoyed that fight, but, you know, it's mostly just been showboating ever since. I won't hesitate, even if that girl would have turned into our enemy by then. That girl? You're really gonna call Saber that girl? You're trying to force yourself to distance yourself so you don't feel bad about it? Because you're trying so hard not to regret, Shiro. You're still going along that not regretting, despite how unhealthy that is. We'll defeat Caster. I have to tell myself that is the most important thing right now. Why? You think there's anything more important than defeating Caster? Because I think defeating Caster is pretty important at the moment. We head to the battlefield. No matter what may be awaiting us at the church at daybreak, we cannot stop now. That sounds pretty climactic. Maybe I should stop now. Not right now, but if we are doing something climactic and we're building up to it, I might break soon if that is the case, because I'm just about to hit the weekend, and I wouldn't want to get to something really cool and then have to stop. It's always awkward finding the good cutting point on Fridays. Like, going one day without streaming, I don't mind, but going 2 days just, oh, it eats me. Night Stay Night. I love it. I love the day name. Night Stay Night. That's funny, because the game is named Fate Stay Night. And now the title is Night Stay Night. And is the knight, I wonder if the knight is like Archer. Is Archer the knight who has to stay night? I wonder, I would assume he is the knight that is staying night. This would be pretty early if we stopped here. It's a nice beat, but it's early, and I am interested, so I think we will keep going. The only reason I wouldn't is if I was afraid of dropping frames, but I don't know. There's a lot of choices here, so let's save here. We're not riding the fighter. I like saving over day change. Why not? It's convenient. Is this the final day? Or merely the... Wait, what are my terms? There's the climax. What's before the climax? Like the pre-climax climax. Or merely the prelude to the end. I think it's the prelude to the end. There's still so many players at play here. I don't think this is going to be the end, but I think it will be a huge moment. I just wonder if the end is going to come right after. Is it going to be such a big climax with like 6 servants still at play? That could be interesting. But I feel like it's at least going to be over the course of maybe 2 more days, would be my prediction. And then, of course, Kirei theoretically is still running around. There's still a lot going on. If there really is only 1 or 2 days left, that's a lot. Is this the final day or merely the prelude to the end? Save. I do think that a lot of the action is, as I've said, kind of front-loaded. And we actually are dropping frames now again. Hey, timing! I do think, as I said, the action is a lot of front-loaded. And now the middle's kind of icky. But maybe we're closely approaching the hard, fast end. Okay, I was going to say the only thing that might make me stop is dropping frames. And it looks like my frames are dropping. Okay, today seems to be bad. Today seems to be a bad. Yeah. It's a fine beat. This would make today's video fairly short, but because of the drop frames, I think I'm going to take the beat and run with it. Yeah, I guess. Because there seems to be a lot of issues today. I don't know why, but it's consistently giving me these issues. So I think I'm going to call it here because this is a fine beat. So I'll see you guys next time. Still don't have an outro phrase. I want to continue. I like the Lancer chemistry. I want to see more Lancer bromance. But my frames are dropping, so I'm going to have to wait till next time. See you then. Still don't have an outro phrase.